About our book, Resilient Teachers and Resilient Schools, both my colleague Professor Christopher Day and myself have worked over the last many years with a large group of teachers and schools in the current context of educational change and reforms. And what we've learned from our research, and for example, our current research on teaching schools, as well as our UK Research Council funded research project looking at how successful secondary schools using policies as opportunities for improvement, that really have led us to believe even more strongly within the broader context of educational change. There are teachers, there are schools, there are school leaders who are able to stay with, enact their educational values, create structures and cultures in their schools, and enable teachers to continue to learn and develop, and therefore continue to improve and make a difference to the life chances of many children. That really kind of have led us to think about the effectiveness of schools. So resilient schools are not only effective schools, they are also schools who stayed with their values, with their educational values, their educational philosophies, and created conditions where everyone is a leader in those kind of schools. Capacity has been built so that everyone can play their role in terms of helping many children to learn and develop. So there is that book, and we believe school leaders, many schools, and teachers and policymakers, as well as academics and other key stakeholders who are working with schools, working with children, and working with teachers who are committed to making a difference to the learning of many children will benefit from that book. It's a kind of a more positive way of looking at the lives and works and effectiveness of many teachers and many schools in the current landscape, despite the challenges and setbacks and a lot of negative circumstances that many teachers and schools have to face. And what we have learned is that the majority of teachers and schools and leaders we have worked with in our research are able to maintain their motivation, their moral purpose, their values, and continue to give their best to their children. And we think that is a very strong message to send to the broad public, to policymakers, as well as to the education profession. Right, about our breakout sessions, it is based on our recently completed and published report on the role of teaching schools in this current policy movement of school-led self-improving system. So we would really like audience to be engaged in a kind of very lively debate and discussion about the role of teaching schools and the journey of their development, the challenges and successes that they have experienced, but more specifically a whole wide range of issues that we have identified from our research in relation to, for example, accountability, the role of mediating layer, or whether that exists or not in different regions, and how different key stakeholders, including teaching schools themselves and their alliances, working together to create a more coherent and coordinated approach to school-led self-improving system. And what also came across really strongly in our evaluation and research is about the role of consistency in quality assurance measures, and how we really evaluate and understand the effectiveness of a teaching school alliance, and how the structures, the broader systemic structure and cultures and conditions and accountability measures at different levels may talk to each other to create a more coherent educational landscape for teaching schools and their alliances development, and for them to play a role in terms of developing teachers and school leaders in the current policy movement towards school-led self-improving system. This is my first ASCO conference. I'm really interested in finding out or being engaged in debates about some current policy issues in relation to teaching schools, multi-academy trusts, and the role of other stakeholders in this current policy movement towards a self-improving school system, and more specifically about the role of school leaders at different levels in terms of shaping and influencing such government policy movement in terms of school-led self-improving system.